So let's go ahead and share my screen. Slideshow mode. All right. So overcoming fear. That's a fun topic. All right. I'm going to ask everyone to do two things. First, I want everyone to grab a pen and paper. So take a second, grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. Or if you have a screen in front of you that you want to type on, go ahead and do that. But we're going to do some exercises today to help you overcome fear. And you're going to need to write some things down. So either write or type some things down. So if you're driving, obviously that's a little tough, but if you can, grab a pen and paper or something to type with. The other thing I'm going to ask everyone to do is I'm going to ask you to take out your phones and follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon. I don't really use Pinterest that much anymore. I post mostly the same things on all of them. Instagram, I get a little bit more out there as I do on YouTube. If you guys do not follow me on YouTube, find me under the name Woke Light Worker on YouTube because I have 10 or 12 actual higher self hypnosis sessions that I've done with clients out on my YouTube channel. And if you have not seen them, oh my gosh, you guys are in for a treat. So there are some very different ones. They're all really different. There's a story out there that I read that was a session of a woman who, get this, she was an ET race scientist who was part of doing experiments when they would abduct humans. So that's a fun one to listen to. And then I've got other ones that will just kind of blow your mind, and you can see and learn from other people's higher selves what you can do, how you can heal, and what you can learn from your higher self. So they're really cool. So make sure you follow me on YouTube and go check out some of my actual higher self hypnosis sessions out there. And that's also where I post all my past replays of my lives. So I've got 2 and 3, sometimes 3.5 hour lives out there where you can learn a ton about higher self and spirituality. I talk about all kinds of topics. You just have to click on the live tab on my YouTube and you'll be able to see those. So anyway, now that we got that behind us, I want to put this up there because we just live in a Sue happy society. So there's my disclaimer right there. This is all for informational purposes. It's not a substitute for professional medical advice. Should not be construed as medical advice. Always seek the guidance of your doctor or other qualified health professionals with any questions you may have regarding your mental or physical health or any mental condition. Never disregard the advice of a medical professional or delay in seeking it because of something you learn in this class or read on my website or hear on any of my social media. If you choose to rely on any information that I provide you, doubles, comma, you do so solely at your own risk. Got it? All right, let's get moving. Okay. I want to start really quickly before we talk about higher self hypnosis. I want to actually have you guys do a really quick exercise to kind of bring your attention here, and let's forget about the day and everything that's happened. So go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to teach you guys something just super quick that I teach all my clients and I do in all my classes. I call it a higher self breath. Your higher self, just in case you don't know what your higher self is, your higher self is you. It's the real you. You know, when this physical body here dies, goes into a grave, the real you, the spirit you that leaves, that's the real you. And so we're going to get connected with the real you right now. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I call these higher self breaths. So you're going to want to take a deep breath in through your nose, and you're going to want to fill your lungs and imagine that you're filling your lungs with the essence or the energy of your higher self, whatever that looks and feels like to you. Then in your mind, I want you to watch that breath travel slowly up to the center of your head. Hold it there for a second and then exhale out the top of your head. Imagine pushing every distraction, every thought, every care, every concern and worry out the top of your head. So do that again. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs with the essence of your higher self, watching that breath travel slowly up to the center of your head. Hold it there for 1 second and then exhale out the top of your head. Again, letting everything from the day go, all distractions and thoughts and worries and concerns. Do one more of those. Deep breath in, breathing in the essence or the energy of your higher self, feeling it fill your lungs. Watch that breath travel up to the center of your head. Hold it there for 1 second. And then exhale out the top of your head one more time, pushing all the distractions out and away. And then just feel yourself centered in the center of your chest, like where your heart would be. Just bring your focus and attention there. Take another breath. Feel your feet planted on the ground, your seat in your bottom in the chair. And go ahead and open your eyes. Okay, so that's just bringing your attention here. We're just letting everything go. I do have some more fun exercises later that we're going to do, some little mini meditation things. And then I'm going to tell you guys at the very end about a special gift I'm going to give you too. Actually, I have two things. So, but I'm going to tell you about those at the very end. Okay. So go ahead and do this. I want everyone to rub your hands together like this, create warmth like this in your hands, create warmth. And on the count of 3, I want you to turn your palms to the camera and I want you to share the warmth that you're creating with all the other attendees. Okay. Feeling the warmth of the energy, leave your hands as you send it out to the other attendees. So 1, 2, and 3, sending it out to everyone else who's here, sending out that warmth and that love energy. Ooh, you feel it coming in too? Not just sending it out, coming in. Yeah. All right. Get those virtual hugs and love, right? Okay. Before we get started, I'm going to move my camera a little bit. You're going to see me a little bit closer just so I can actually see my other screen a little bit. Before we get started, I want to tell you guys about the 2 main things that I do in my spiritual practice because not everyone knows who I am. Some people just found me through an ad. The first thing that I do, and since I'm offering this class for free for 2 hours, I feel like I have a right to just let you know what I do, give you a 2-minute commercial. How's that sound? Is that good? Is that fair? I literally spent all day yesterday and all day today until I took 5 minutes to straighten my hair and do my makeup, just working on this class for you guys. So putting all this together. So the 2 main things I do something called higher self hypnosis, which I know most of you are aware of, but not everyone. Some of you on here, I know you've done sessions with me. It's awesome. But in these sessions, I do an intake with my clients where I get to learn all about them. I do some intuitive coaching and teaching with them. And we put together a list of questions as an outline so that my client can ask their higher self once they're in a meditative state. That takes about, depending on if you want to do my shorter version or my longer version of my session, there are 2 different prices. One's 3 hours, one's like 6 hours broken over 2 days. Hi, JC. So my friend jumped on. So after we do that, then I lead you in a guided, relaxed, meditative state where we will look at a past life. Ooh, that's always fun. Sometimes these past lives are on Earth. Sometimes they're not. Then we'll look at what you do in between lives. And I will tell you guys, there is some real gold in those sometimes. You get to learn some crazy stuff about what you do in between lives and as part of your pre-birth planning and reviewing other lives and planning the next one and who you're talking to and how you're making your decisions. Then I've already given you training on how to do this. Then you will channel your higher self to get all the answers to every question that you have about your life. Maybe you want to know about your life purpose. Maybe you want to know, why did I choose the mom I did or the dad I did? Why am I having such a hard time in my marriage? Like, what do I do? I have a number of males who do sessions with me, and not every time, but many of the times they want to know, should I stay with my wife? Of course, I have females who ask the same question. It's not should I, it's let me see. It's not should I stay with them, it's is it in my best and highest good, really? But there's other questions. What did I plan for my purpose or my mission to be in this life? Am I holding some trapped anger somewhere? If yes, ooh, what do I need to do to get rid of it? And can you remove it? What what can I do to increase my business? I mean, really, guys, just anything and everything, and to eliminate fears. It is an amazing way to dig out fears, find out why you're holding them, how they're serving you in your life. We're going to talk about that. Everything serves a purpose. And then what do I need to do to get rid of it? And then we'll watch your higher self take it away from you. So that's one thing I do. And a second thing that I do, you guys. Oh, my goodness, what happened? I meant to hit. Huh, interesting. Why did it go off my screen here? Okay, the next thing I do is something called theta healing. And in theta healing, it is incredible. It's a class that I teach. You get to uncover all kinds of blocks and beliefs you have to live your best possible life. You get physical, mental, and emotional healing, tons of spiritual knowledge, tons. You learn how to uncover and heal trauma in yourself and others. So you can actually take what you learn and start a spiritual business. How cool is that? You practice giving and receiving healings in class. So you walk out feeling a ton of healing yourself. And you get to learn a method of self-healing that I promise you will use the rest of your life. Like, it will change your life. I actually have a free 30-minute video. I'm going to send you guys a link in the next 48 hours in case you want to watch it, but it's on my YouTube channel. And it's actually on my website, wokelightworker.com, where you can watch like a 30-minute webinar that I did talking more about theta healing. Guys, when I did theta healing about 6 years ago, I didn't even know what I was walking into. I just know that my higher self told me, you need to learn theta healing. And I was like, okay, I don't even know what that is. So I found a teacher in the area that I was living at the time. And I thought I was just going to sign up for one of the many theta healing classes that are offered. And I ended up signing up for the first 4, which is what I teach. And the first 4 are the absolute building blocks to every other theta healing class. And they're the 4 that you need to really get a complete tool belt, I guess I'll say, so that you can do this amazing healing on yourself. But I'm just going to summarize it by saying I was already on my healing journey when I had started it by the time I found theta healing. And when I walked out of the first 4 weekends of theta healing classes, you guys, I said to myself, I know for a fact that the healing I received in this class by doing all the partner work that we did and the learning that we did would have probably taken me about 2 years to learn on my own. Like, it completely blew me away. And it's something I use every single day of my life. My 16-year-old daughter learned it about a year ago. She uses it numerous times a day, anytime she's triggered with anything. My older son, her brother, loves to yank all her cords. So she gets to practice theta healing a lot. But so it's amazing, it's incredible, it's mind-blowing, and that's what I'm going to leave it at. So I have classes starting on January 25th. I think that's my next. I have classes starting January 25th. Everyone who enrolls as a result of being in this course, watch to the end. I have never, ever offered this before. I am going to allow you to apply for a free scholarship for the 4th class if you enroll for all 4 classes, which is a $440 discount. So if you are interested, wait till the end. I'll tell you how you can do that. All right. So I want to jump in right away and talk about overcoming fear, because now I introduced myself. You know who I am, what I do. Overcoming fear. I want to start out by defining 2 terms to make sure that we're all on the same page. First word I want to define is fear. Wikipedia defines fear as an intensely unpleasant emotion in response to perceiving or recognizing a danger or threat. Fear causes physiological changes, that's in the body, that may produce behavioral reactions such as mounting an aggressive response or fleeing the threat, right? So fight or flight. Fear in human beings may occur in response to a certain stimulus occurring in the present, or in anticipation or expectation of a future threat perceived as a risk. I know that was a lot, guys. I got it. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I want to focus on the very last sentence right here on your screen. Fear in human beings may occur in response to a certain stimulus occurring in the present, or in anticipation or expectation of a future threat perceived as a risk to oneself. So you guys have probably heard this before. Fear is when we take ourselves and project ourselves into the future. It's not, I mean, if you're in flight mode, fight or flight mode, you're right here in the present. But it's the anticipation or the worry, the expectation of a future perceived threat that could cause a threat to us, making us feel unsafe. So let's just use an example of if you feel fear of being homeless, right? You're not homeless right now, I'm assuming. So the fear of being homeless is something you're perceiving or projecting could happen in the future. So that makes it a fear. It's not something that's right here, right now, okay? So having the ability to sense fear has allowed the human race to survive, right? So it deserves a great deal of respect, and it plays an important role. It really does. But on the other hand, fear can also really interfere with our day-to-day functioning if it's not due to an actual threat to our survival. So look at the example I just gave you, a fear of being homeless. If you're not homeless right now, it's affecting your day-to-day survival, your body, your emotions, your mind, by having this fear be part of your energetic makeup. So fear can provide a rush of emotion. I mean, we've all experienced fearful adrenaline rushes that occur when we're on a roller coaster, if we watch a scary movie, if we visit a haunted house. Emotions are what keep us feeling alive. I mean, imagine if you had no emotions and life was neutral. And just going back to something I said at the very beginning, I told you guys out on my YouTube channel, I have some actual higher self-hypnosis sessions. The one that I read, because I didn't have permission from my client to post her actual video, so I read the transcript from it. She was an ET race that studied humans, that the others in her race would abduct humans and they would do scientific studies on them. You know why they were studying these humans? They were studying emotions because their race had gotten rid of emotions, the ability to feel emotions. So they would actually abduct humans and animals and study emotions, trying to find a way back to having emotions again. Because emotions cause you to feel alive, and they want to feel alive. So, I mean, imagine if everything in life was neutral. I mean, seriously, how would that be? And as much as we try to manage our emotions or make them all be even keel, it's really the ups and downs that we feel because of emotions that make life such a wild ride. When we experience an imbalance of emotions, if we have too much sadness or misery or fear versus the amount of joy, of course, that's not fun. Nobody would say that that's fun. So there's one other word I want to define. So let me move forward on my screen. And this is the word beliefs. We hear this word all the time. I'm sure you guys know what a belief is, but let's just look at the definition. Beliefs are a set of thoughts that we accept as our own, that we grab, that we hold on to in an attempt to make sense of the world around us. And beliefs are also an attempt by our ego self to help us feel safe. Are we still good on the sound, guys? I'm just doing a sound check. Everybody thumbs up. Am I doing good? Okay. You can still hear me. Okay, good. Thank you. So an example of our ego creating beliefs to keep us safe could be, I just had this come up in a high self-hypnosis session. I need a man in order to make it in life because I saw how badly my single mom struggled. So our ego experiences something personally or it sees or hears about someone else's experience and it comes to conclusions about how to best protect us from the same thing. Storytelling is a huge way that we learn in our lives. I mean, before there was any written language, stories were the way that training and education was passed down through stories. And we learn best through stories. That I think that's why people love my higher self hypnosis stories so much on my social media channels. If you're not on there, again, it's Woke Lightworker on TikTok, Instagram, all that. But blindly holding on to beliefs is what causes us fear. So we're going to really get into the fear part here. Okay. So using this same example, that would entail having repetitive thoughts about how you need to find a good man and get married, because that's how you're going to achieve stability. And if you don't have that, you're never going to be stable. Let's say that's a belief that you have. But this is a fear-based belief that you have. It's not a universal truth. That means it's not true for everyone, right? Because another woman, she may have witnessed a strong, independent woman or heard stories about them, and she formed a belief that a woman can do anything she puts her mind to, and she can be very stable on her own, and therefore does not have a fear of being unable to support herself as a single woman. Two women, two different beliefs. One created a fearful belief, and the other created a belief of empowerment. So beliefs are really personal. They're not universal. And just FYI, I didn't put this anywhere in here. I mean, fear is an illusion. It's not. You guys have probably heard that acronym before, fear, FEAR. What does it stand for? False evidence appearing real, right? It's an illusion. Fear is an illusion, and it's not a truth. So it may be true that your mother struggled as a single mother, but she made a lot of other choices along with that. It wasn't just because she was single, right? Maybe it was part of her soul path to experience having a difficult single mother life, because maybe, who knows, I'm just making this up right now, but maybe she had a previous life where she was an entitled heiress and she treated people terribly who struggled and had no compassion for them. So maybe in this life, she wanted to know what it was like to put the shoe on the other foot and be in that position so that she could gain compassion. So life on earth is a lot of experience in duality, experiencing opposites. And I see that all the time in my higher self hypnosis sessions. So we never know why people experience certain things, but just because someone else experienced something does not mean it's a universal truth. It doesn't have to be true for you. Okay. So let me go to the next screen. Fears are all in our mind and are self-created. So the reason I wanted to define fear and beliefs are because they're one and the same. But a fear is a belief that has a low frequency, whereas other beliefs may be neutral, or they could be a high frequency, have a high frequency energy attached to them. So I don't know if you've all heard this before. Everything is energy. Your energy, your thoughts are energy. Beliefs are energy. Words are energy. Fears are energy. So if you want to write that down, fears are energy. And energy is always vibrating at a particular frequency. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates at a frequency. So fear is a belief that vibrates at a low frequency, whereas a belief that, let's say someone has the belief, everything in life happens for me. That is a positive, high frequency belief. So when it comes to frequency, the law that supports frequency is the law of magnetism, which there's like a sub law, like underneath that, like a layer underneath that. And we all know this one, it's the law of attraction. Like attracts like. So in other words, high frequency beliefs attract more high frequency things and more high frequency thoughts, more high frequency beliefs. It's like a magnet. It's going to attract more of those. And low frequency beliefs And fears attract more low frequency beliefs and fears. I can't be the only one who has ever gotten sad and I'm lying in bed and I'm just crying. Yep, even me, right? Lying in bed crying. And then every single thing that's ever gone wrong in my life just starts rushing to my mind. So I get to relive all of it once again because it was so wonderful the first time. I just want to experience it again in my mind. So my low frequency thought about, oh, this didn't happen in my life, why did this happen to me, is just attracting more and more and more of those because of the law of attraction. All right. So next screen, beliefs create your thoughts. Your thoughts create your actions. Your actions create your life. I don't know if you want to write that down or take a screenshot of that. But again, your beliefs create your thoughts. Your thoughts create your actions. And then your actions create your life. So going back to the beginning of what I just said and cutting out the middle steps, your beliefs create your life. So my beliefs create my life. So using that example again of lying in bed crying, thinking about every bad thing that's ever happened to me and why I have every right to feel sorry for myself right now. My belief is bad things happen to me. So that's my thought. And then my action is I just keep thinking of more and more and more of these and I keep crying. And I lie there and I'm crying more and more and more. If I were to let that be my all-consuming emotion, I'd be lying in bed with depression. And then that would be what I would be creating in my life. This isn't actually part of it, guys, but I'm just going to tell you a little trick that I use when I actually get in a situation like that. Not always in the first 5 minutes, okay? Sometimes I just want to like wallow in sadness for a little while. But I say to my higher self, my soul self, to Jesus, to Buddha, to God, whoever you want to, creator, I just say, I put a request out there. It's like throwing a line up to heaven. And I say, show me the next highest frequency thought that I could be thinking right now to help me pull my way out of this. So it's almost like throwing a line up there and imagining that it's like a ladder. And I just want to get to the next rung. So the next highest frequency thought, even though it might not be that high frequency, even if it's a little higher frequency than the one I'm thinking right now, that's one rung on the ladder I can grab onto. And then when I get there and I change my thoughts to focus on that one, I'll say, okay, what's the next highest frequency thought I can be thinking right now? And so then I climb to the next rung on that ladder. And I focus on that thought for just a little bit. And then I'll say, okay, what's the next highest frequency thought I can be focusing on right now? And I'll grab that rung on the ladder. And that's how I find myself being able to climb out when I get in these emotional lows. And I'll tell you, you have to make yourself do it. Like it takes some willpower when all you want to do is feel bad for yourself, right? But if you can have your conscious mind override your subconscious mind or your ego, this works. I've done it. It works. That's a freebie, okay? All right. We have thousands of beliefs, most of which you don't ever even consciously think about or realize that you have. So let me give you an example. Let's do this one. If you have a belief that life is unsafe, and let me tell you guys, the belief that life is unsafe underlies most fears. Okay? A belief that you're not safe in some way, shape, or form. But let's say you have a belief that life is unsafe. Maybe you didn't experience safety in school. Maybe you didn't experience safety in the workplace or in a relationship. And the energy from that belief, life is unsafe, is going to result in us creating all kinds of fears and attracting on an energetic level proof to show us that life is unsafe because we're creating that. Instead of taking personal accountability though and say, oh, I'm creating in a life that appears unsafe, we say, see, look, I told you, life is unsafe. It's right in front of me. There's proof all around me, without realizing we are actually the ones with our energy, our frequency that is creating this. It's just a mirror reflecting back. What we're putting out is just being reflected back at us. So if you're going to be in the school of spirituality, right? If you're going to be in the school of spirituality, it's understanding that we are the creators. Life doesn't happen to us. It happens for us, whatever we're putting out. Okay. And it's not always an instant mirror. There's lag, we're on Earth. Okay. So let's go back to that. We don't realize that it all started with a belief that you held that was that particular energetic frequency. And in this case, it was a low frequency. And because it's a low frequency thought, it has attracted to us other low frequency energies, or like I said, proof that life is unsafe. So a common love relationship fear is if I get too close to someone, they're going to hurt me or they're going to leave me. So you find yourself either sabotaging the relationship or unconsciously bailing at the first sign of distress. Those are the typical responses. Or you might even go the other way and stay in an abusive or non-supportive relationship just to prove to yourself again that relationships are unsafe. And then you stay in the relationship and you're like, see, relationships are unsafe. Okay. So next screen, your fears are directly related to your beliefs. I would definitely write that down. My fears are directly related to my beliefs. So it's uncovering what are my beliefs to see what do I need to do to change those beliefs. And again, if you missed the introduction part or if you were here to hear it, I'm going to tell you guys, Theta Healing, the classes I have coming up the end of January, probably 80% of that class, maybe 70, works on belief systems, changing belief systems. We uncover all kinds of beliefs that you hold and work to change them because your beliefs create your reality, right? So my fears are directly related to my beliefs. So if you have a belief that it's dangerous to jump from a perfectly good airplane with a folded up parachute on your back, you likely won't do it. If, however, you believe that it would be exciting and a once in a lifetime experience to jump out of a perfectly good airplane with a folded up parachute on your back, you may very well do it and find it enjoyable. So the difference in whether you do the act depends on your belief about the act. So you view it as dangerous or you view it as exciting. Your belief about that act labels it as dangerous or exciting. And based upon your belief, you act accordingly. So you either go skydiving or you don't. But it starts with your belief. You tell yourself what you want to experience about that particular act. Next screen, let me turn it. Why do we create fearful beliefs? Like, who in their right mind would do this, right? Why would you do it? Why would not everything just not be sunshine and roses? That would be amazing, so we think, right? Until and unless we become conscious of our beliefs and our fears, we create our beliefs and fears from our ego unconsciously. And we start off creating them as a form of protection. So think about it. Without the fear of a dangerous wild animal and the urge to run when they start chasing you, the human race would have been wiped out a long time ago. So that natural fight or flight instinct is very beneficial. But it's when we bring this fight or flight or freeze instinct into our daily non-dangerous lives, that's where the problems occur mentally and physically. So mentally, we can drive ourselves crazy with looping, repetitive thoughts. Some people even take it further and develop paranoia or OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. But what is at the root of all fear? What is the root cause of all fear? So I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. I was walking my dog the other night and I was thinking about this class. Actually, I was sitting here writing it most of the day yesterday. And then I took my dog out for a walk and was actually listening to a meditation on, eliminating fear, just to kind of get some ideas and the creative juices flowing. And then the meditation was done and I just was in quiet and I just was thinking about the word fear, ruminating on the word fear. Fear, fear, fear. And I heard my higher self say to me, crystal clear in my head, the root of all fear is a belief that you are separate from God, that you're separate from the Creator. Okay? So I would write that down. The root of all fear is that you believe you are separate from Creator. Guys, when I say Creator, you can substitute God, you can substitute Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever you want, source, universe, divine, whatever you want, okay? I use the word Creator because I teach theta healing, and that's the word we use in theta healing. The creator of all that is what we say. And as this separate being, you believe you are unsafe and alone. Oh my gosh, you were just placed out on this big giant spinning rock and left alone. So if you have taken my 4-week class, I know Pyra's here. I believe she was in my Connecting to Your Higher Self class, but I went into detail about how, get this guys, nothing other than Creator exists. Nothing other than Creator exists. I'm going to give you guys a name of a really good book if you want to delve more into this. You want to write this one down. It's called One Truth, One Law. And the author's name is Aaron Worley, Werley, Aaron Worley. It's called One Truth, One Law, I Am, I Create. And if you guys actually go to my website, wokelightworker.com, oh my gosh, I'm going to give a plug for this. If you go to my website, wokelightworker.com, I actually have a tab there where you can look at all my recommended books that I read that helped me in my spiritual journey. And if you guys go to buy any of those books through my link, I get like a tiny little affiliate commission. So you can help my business that way too. But I have all the books that I mostly recommend for someone in their spiritual journey. And I think there's like 53 books out there I have. I could add way more, but I think that was enough to get everyone going. Okay, so the book, One Truth, One Law, nothing other than Creator exists. Everything is Creator. There is nothing other than Creator. Everything is a fractal of the Creator. So we are just fractals of Creator having an illusory experience that we're somehow not God, that we're somehow separate. And you heard me say the word illusory, right? Illusory experience, that we're not God and that we're separate. And as real as this illusion may seem, it is not the truth with a capital T. Truth with a capital T is that there is only God and you are part of that one and only God, the God that created all of existence. Okay, so you may or may not have heard this example before. When people explain this concept, they talk about the ocean. So the ocean is full of billions and billions and countless billions of drops of water. Together, all of these drops of water make up the vast ocean. But individually, they're drops of water. But the drops of water are still ocean water, right? They're still made up from the ocean. They can't not be ocean water. So if you were to go to the ocean and scoop up a bucket of water from the ocean, you have a bucket of ocean water. It cannot not be ocean water. It's all the same. It's just because the bucket of water was, let's say the bucket of water is given free will and it had its memory wiped, and now it believes it's not ocean water. But that doesn't change the truth. It still is ocean water. So the truth cannot be changed just because the water itself believes something different. The truth for the water in the bucket may be that it is just ordinary, non-ocean, separate, alone, abandoned water. But the truth with a capital T is that it is ocean water. Does that make sense, you guys? Make sense? Okay, so going to this one, screen, let me turn on here. Okay, so a belief leads to a thought, which leads to an emotion, which leads to a physical response in the body. Okay, we have these magnificent things called bodies that allow us to feel, and they are also, our bodies are also a gauge, like a feedback device that tells us what is going on with our beliefs, with our thoughts. It's a giant feedback loop. So, I know you guys have all heard this before. If someone has cancer, I had a client call me. She said, I have cancer and I know the cancer is related to the anger I have for my husband. She said that to me. When we did her session, it was absolutely true according to her higher self. So she was holding on to anger that her husband did not stand up for her and support her in the way she thought he should have. And she got angry because he didn't meet her expectation and she got angry. So it was her belief that her husband should have done something in a particular way and he didn't. And she got angry about that, frustrated that he didn't meet her expectation. And that anger built up in her body. And then her body was the feedback loop to tell her, hey, Cancer, you're holding something in you that is low frequency. So it's a giant feedback loop. So there's a lot that happens in our bodies when we experience the emotion of fear, guys. I mean, I know you can probably imagine if you think of a fearful event, think of being like chased by a lion or something like that. Your body would be like, oh, like all, like hyped up. So an emotion that we're feeling triggers a physical reaction in our bodies. And remember, the emotion is first triggered by one or more thoughts. So if our thoughts are calm and peaceful, our bodies are calm and peaceful. Is the idea to focus on our bodies then? Actually, I think you can focus on your bodies. That was one of the questions. You can focus on your body, but if you focus on your thoughts, that's where it all starts. So we're going to talk about meditation in a little while. Meditation is about quieting your mind, right? And it brings so much peace to your body because you've got a quiet mind. So the more quiet and calm you can keep your mind, the more you can work on your beliefs. Again, theta healing is an amazing way to work on your beliefs. I'm going to give you some other ways though too, guys, if you do it on your own, okay? But working on your thoughts can keep your bodies calm too. So I want to go to the next screen. What happens to our bodies when we're in fear? And I quoted the source on the bottom there if you guys are interested in reading this article, because I want to give credit where credit is due, because I couldn't possibly know this because I'm not a doctor. But what happens to our bodies when we're in fear? Our breathing rate increases. Our heart rate increases. There's blood vessels like on the skin, they constrict. I'm just reading this off my screen, guys. The central blood vessels around vital organs, it dilates to flood them with oxygen and nutrients. The muscles are pumped with blood so they can be ready to react because, right, we might have to flee. The levels of glucose in our blood spike. We need that extra sugar rush to give us the energy to run, right? Stored energy. There is increased levels of calcium and white blood cells that happen in the bloodstream. The amygdala in our brain, it signals the hypothalamus in the brain, which activates our pituitary gland, where the nervous system and the endocrine system, the hormone system is. And it secretes all these hormones in our blood. And then you get this fight or flight response. The adrenals, given a dash of epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, it shoots that into the bloodstream. So there's like this huge process that happens when we are in a state of fear. Now, if you are in a state of fear, for every little thing that you think of in your mind going through the day, oh, I could be homeless. Oh, I need a man. Oh, I'm not going to be okay. I'm not going to be okay with this. Oh, I might lose my job. Like all this stuff. Your body is sent through this cycle of all these physical reactions. And can you imagine if you were you're not your body, you are your body, but you're not your body. But could you imagine your body just going constantly like, okay, oh, I got to calm down for a minute. And then all of a sudden you have this thought or this belief that spikes everything up again. Because your body, it's happening in your mind and your body doesn't know that there's not an actual lie in there. It just automatically goes into that fight, flight, or freeze mode and starts kickstarting all of these systems and all of these processes. And as you can imagine, it's just like if you were driving your car and you drove it nonstop, you were constantly on the roads, driving. I mean, that car breaks down. It starts to have issues. It needs repair. And then we wonder why we get all these health issues too. And again, that's another feedback mechanism of our body telling us, hey, whoa, I'm being a little overworked here. Something's going on. Something's happening, right? We'll have digestive issues, other things. So, and then we wonder what's going on, but it all starts again with our thoughts. Okay. So let me go to the next screen here. Trying to get to the next screen. Okay. And I have the source down in the bottom of that slide too, guys. But a major factor in how we experience fear has to do with the context. So what it says here on the screen, when our thinking brain gives feedback to our emotional brain, and then we perceive ourselves as being in a safe space, we can quickly shift the way we experience this high arousal state. You don't see the next slide? Does everybody see the next slide or does nobody see it? No? Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Okay, let me stop sharing and then let me go reshare again. Thank you for letting me know, guys. I'm so glad I actually saw that message come through. Can you see it now? You can see it now? Okay, good. Oh, that was weird. I didn't do anything different. Okay. So reading from the screen, when our thinking brain gives feedback to our emotional brain, and then we perceive ourselves being in a safe space, like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Oh, I thought I was scared for a minute, but now I realize I'm safe. We can quickly shift the way we experience that high arousal state, going from one of fear to one of joy or excitement. So it's just like, now I'm feeling really guilty, you guys, because I love sneaking up on people and scaring them, like around the corner. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just like great fun. I think it's funny, right? And here I am, I'm like creating their body to go into all this, this like state of fear, right? I'm so mean. Oh my gosh. Okay, I better stop doing that. We'll think about that one. But but our brain will tell us, our logical brain will tell our emotional brain, wait a minute. Oh, there's no danger. That was just Tracy acting like an idiot again. Okay. You know, it'll just say something like that. Think about haunted houses, right? You go into a haunted house and you're like expecting this ghost or somebody to jump out at you, knowing that it isn't a real threat. Then you're able to tell your mind, oh, it's not a real threat. Or maybe you see someone else. Like I look at my 16-year-old daughter and she's like laughing and talking and trying to scare them back. And I'm like looking at her going, yeah, wait a minute. This isn't real. I don't need to be scared. Right. So it's kind of like that. So I'm going to go to the next screen. Tell me if you guys can't see that one. Can you see it? Thumbs up. Can you see it with the candle? You can see it or you can't see it? Yes. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Um, Telling yourself that you're safe equals a calming of the fight or flight rush. So, did you catch that though, you guys? The slides are a bit delayed. Okay. Thank you guys. Telling yourself that you're safe can give you the calming effect of the fight or flight rush. So when we're able to recognize what is or isn't a real threat, we can relabel that experience and enjoy the thrill of the moment and know that we're in a place where we feel in control. So it's what we are telling ourselves. Okay. So there we go back again, right? Our thoughts. We are telling ourselves that we're safe. I'd put a big star by that one. Telling yourself that you're safe can make you feel safe. That's a big one. Okay. Now, and it'll probably be a lag again. I'm going to switch slides and we're going to take a break here in just a little bit, you guys. But our perception of control is vital to how we experience and respond to fear. So when we get over that initial fight or flight rush, we're often left feeling satisfied. We're reassured that we're safe. And we feel more confident in our ability to confront the thing that initially scared us. Right? So when I'm jumping around the corner at somebody and they realize, oh, they tell themselves, I'm safe. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just Tracy acting goofy again. They feel more in control and they have confidence to confront the thing that scared them or confront me, right? So this is what it says, and I'm taking this as a sentence from the source that's listed there, guys. Abnormal levels of fear and anxiety can cause a lot of distress and dysfunction, and they can limit your ability to have success and joy. So if you have a high level of fear and anxiety, we confront our fears to prove ourselves. Yeah. Abnormal levels of fear. So not just normal, they're calling it abnormal levels of fear and anxiety can cause significant distress and dysfunction to limit your success and joy. Listen to this statistic. Nearly 1 in 4 people experiences a form of an anxiety disorder in their lives. And nearly 8% experience PTSD. So those are some pretty high numbers, 1 in 4 people. To me, it sounds like a lot of people could benefit from what we're going to talk about after the break, something called mindfulness. And we're going to talk about different ways to be mindful. It's not just one generic term. We're going to talk about different examples to be mindful. So I'm going to leave it at that right now. And we're going to take a 5-minute break because when we come back, I want to talk about these different sources. When I did my research, talk about 3 primary sources, and each one has a lot of different subsources, categories underneath them, but 3 primary ways that you can deal with fear, mitigate fear, eliminate fear. So we're going to talk about those after the break. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And it is 2 minutes before the hour. So let's come back at about 4 minutes after the hour, guys, and then we'll resume right where we left off. How does that sound? Good? All right, I'll see you all then. and share the screen again. Okay. Okay. I want to go right where I told you I was going to start up with. In my reading and research, I found 3 primary suggestions given to manage fear. First was medical interventions, mindfulness techniques, and then talk therapy. I'm going to address the second one, which is mindfulness techniques, because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a licensed clinical therapist. So let's go to the second one. And being that this is a spirituality class, a spiritual class, that's where we're going to focus. Mindfulness on the screen. Mindfulness is moving away from thoughts about the future by continually bringing yourself to the present moment. So I don't know if you want to write that down, but mindfulness is moving away from thoughts about the future by continually bringing yourself back to the present moment. And I'll just give you a quick side note to this. So sometimes when I do my higher self hypnosis sessions, the clients will want to know, what do I need to do to lose weight? Like, where am I missing the mark here in terms of weight loss? Does everybody see the screen or no? Pyra, can you see the screen? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. It says It says mindfulness is moving away from thoughts about the future by continually bringing yourself back to the present moment. With regard to weight loss, I don't know about you guys. I don't think I'm the only one again who does this, but mindless eating. So the higher self says you need to engage in mindful eating. Pay attention to what you're doing. If it means you only eat at the table and you don't have anything else on, no screens, no nothing. So you are completely there, whatever it takes to engage in mindful eating. Logging your food, whatever that looks like. Pyra said, I'm eating a cupcake right now. Are you mindlessly eating, Pyra? Is that what you're doing? So I'm just saying those are some examples of what you can do to be mindful when you're eating. Bring your attention to the present moment so you can focus on that feeling of, oh, I'm satisfied, not, oh my gosh, how did I get so full? It's, oh no, I'm feeling like I've had enough. I can go away from my plate right now. But anyway, so the past is where suffering and trauma are regurgitated and re-experienced. That's the past. The future is where fear and anxiety lie. So the past is trauma regurgitated. The future is fear and anxiety, worrying about this, worrying about that. The present is what you see here, now, right in front of you, all around you. This now moment. People also refer to this as mindfulness or being mindful. Again, bringing yourself to the present moment. In a recent higher self hypnosis session, I asked my client's higher self what she could do after her session to examine her beliefs and to throw away other people's beliefs that keep her and just keep her own, like the ones she wants. So in other words, parsing out those beliefs that are truly hers versus the beliefs that she picked up from others. Others would be parents, siblings, partners, friends, coworkers, get this, even ancestors who pass down beliefs in our DNA and beliefs from society at large. Guys, if you imagine you've just got this constant, since everything is energy, you've got constant energy coming at you and bombarding you all the time. You've got all these thoughts and beliefs, which are energy, coming at you all the time. Are you picking up those? Are they kind of bouncing off you? How much spiritual work do you do on yourself? Do you spend time in nature? Oh gosh, guys, I can't even get started on this one. Every single person in their higher self hypnosis session, their higher self tells them they need to spend more time in nature. It's to get away from that constant bombardment of other people's energy and other people's thoughts and get back to creator energy from the trees and the plants and the animals and the grass and the dirt, Mother Earth, right? That's creator. That's a different form of creators. Like we're creator, the earth is creator, the animals are creator, the trees are creator, the plants are creator. And they don't have that chaotic energy that's full of beliefs that are just being thrown out all over the place. So spending time in nature is huge for having more peace and getting outside. So her higher self responded by telling her to do this. Write down her beliefs. Just make a list. Then read it to herself and consciously decide which beliefs she wants to hold on to, and thereby gain an understanding that she gets to choose what she wants to believe. Does that make sense? So let me see. Methods and exercises to overcome fear. We're gonna work on this a little bit. This is why I told you guys I wanted you to have a pen and paper. So make sure you got your pen and paper out. So number one is to do exactly what this client's higher self told her to do. I want you to brainstorm a list of some fears that you hold, and then I want you to read it to yourself. Then I want you to consciously decide what beliefs you want to keep and which ones you want to get rid of. So remember this, you guys, the power lies in you. And if you never do this exercise and consciously choose what you want to retain as a belief and decide what you want to discard, you're going to keep bumping up against the same fears over and over again until they start screaming in your face to be dealt with in another way. So take just a minute and write down a few of your fears, because we're going to do a couple things with these fears. So think of as many as you can. I'm going to be quiet for just like a minute while you think of as many beliefs or fears, fearful beliefs. Let's talk about fearful beliefs that you have. Write down as many as you can think of. Just write them down. You're just doing a brainstorming session. Don't just write a few. Write down as many as you can. Okay, now what I want you to do, let's change my screen. I love this little picture I found. All right. Look at your list of fears. And I want you to put a star next to any beliefs that you feel on your list might belong to someone else. Maybe a spouse, a parent, a partner, a relative, society. In other words, a belief that you think you may have picked up from someone else. So I'm going to give you a quick example. All the time I have people coming in going, I have a fear of lack. I just have a fear that I'm not going to have enough. I don't have enough. And I'm like, where'd you get that? And they're like, yeah, I saw my mom struggle financially my whole life. Constantly heard, money doesn't grow on trees. We never have enough money for this. We don't have enough money for that. That would be an example of a belief you would put a star next to. So again, look at your list and put a star next to any beliefs on your list that you feel may belong to someone else, that you are holding now, but you believe they belong to someone else. Okay. Now, for this next part, I want you to put your imagination caps on. Remember when you're in elementary school, the teacher would tell you put your imagination cap on? I want you to put your imagination cap on for the next part. You might feel like you're making this all up, and that's okay. Just go with it. Give yourself permission now. It's okay if I just make all this up. What's going to happen next? I can just make it up. So I want you to do this. I want you to pick one of the fears from your list that I guess it could just be any fear, really. Just pick a fear from your list. Pick the one that bothers you the most, right? The one you'd love to get rid of the most. All right. I want you to go ahead and close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that there's like a blank white screen, a white movie screen in front of you. And I want you to see that particular fear on that movie screen outside of you. Okay. So you're watching yourself. You're the observer. You're watching yourself, and you're going to start talking to that fear. So we're going to personify that fear. We're going to make that fear a talking thing. It's an energy. You're an energy. It's an energy, guys. Okay. So, and you can take notes as you get the answers if you want to. But I want you to ask that fear, where did you come from? Did you come from me? Did you come from my mom, my dad, partner? Like, where'd you come from? And listen to the first answer that comes to your mind. We're just faking it, guys. Fake it till you make it. Don't doubt. Just go with whatever comes to your mind. If you could hear an answer, what would you hear? Then I want you to ask it, if it was something your ego decided upon when you were younger in an effort to keep you safe, or was it a belief that one of your parents had that you grabbed onto? Was it a belief you learned from society? Again, just feel or intuit where this belief came from. The next question I want you to ask this fear, this belief is, what are you here to teach me? Why are you visiting me now? And then I want you to write down, is there any positive way that it's impacting you, maybe motivating you in some way? And let me give you an example of what I mean. You may have a fear of lack or being homeless, but that motivates you. The positive is it motivates you to get your buns out of bed every morning and go to work and keep a job. So it has a positive benefit. So how is that fear or that belief benefiting you? Is it keeping you safe? Is it giving you motivation? And then what lessons? Here's the next one. Write this down. What lessons have you learned by having this belief? Okay, let me use my example again. My fear of lack, let's just say someone says this, my fear of lack motivates me to get up and go to work every morning and to do a good job so I don't lose my job. And to maybe even have to engage in some office politics just so I can stay good with everyone so I don't lose my job because I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be on the street. I got my kids to support. What have I learned from this? I've learned how to be reliable. I've learned how to be dependable. I've learned how to work hard. I've learned how to be committed. I've learned how to be dedicated. I've learned how to put in a good day's work. I've learned skills in my job. I've learned persistence, consistency. You see what I'm talking about? There's lots of lessons we can learn from each one. So what lessons, write that down and I'll be quiet. What lessons have you learned or are you learning from that particular belief or fear? Now, the next thing I want you to do And you can come back and add more lessons if you want, guys, because the more you think about it, you're probably going to think of more lessons. Decide now if you need this fear. Have you learned all the lessons? Or do you want to get rid of it? Do you want to retain this fear? And if it's there to help you to learn more positive lessons, or are you ready to get rid of it? So get rid of or keep. Okay. Now I want you to ask yourself, if you're ready to let it go, if you feel like, okay, I see the lessons in this, I feel like I can be done with this fear. Can you think of a higher frequency emotion that you could invite onto the screen in front of you in place of the fear that could replace the fear? So maybe it's courage, maybe it's bravery, maybe it's motivation, maybe it's drive or ambition, maybe it's creator's safety, maybe it's creator's provision, maybe it's a new belief in abundance and that you're worthy of abundance. Maybe it's some self-love you want to invite onto the screen. Invite some other virtue onto the screen and ask it if it would work with you, if it would like to work with you. And ask fear if it would allow you to swap out fear in place of this new virtue. And then see in your mind, if you feel like it's a yes, I can absolutely do this. And then see this swapping out take place. Thank the fear and watch it as it walks off your white screen. And then feel what it feels like with your eyes closed for just a moment to see that screen in front of you with fear gone and it being replaced with this new virtue, this new emotion, this new characteristic. And how does that feel to embody that versus previously having embodied the fear or that old belief, even if it's not a fear, it might just be an old belief. How does it feel to have that be consciously, by choice, become part of you now? Because we're feeling creatures. So you want to feel what that feels like. And when you're done feeling that for just a moment, go ahead and open your eyes. And if anybody wants to put anything in the comments, I would love, they'll come fast and furious on my screen. And I don't know why I can't ever see my comments very well on here. But I would love to read the comments. And I wonder if I can log in on my other computer to see the comments better. I'm going to see if I possibly can too. What did you have as your belief or your fear, and what did you replace it with? Anybody want to write anything in? Lack for abundance. Chris said he's going to send me some screenshots too. Anybody else? I saw lack for abundance. Fear of driving replaced with creator's definition of safety. And I can see myself enjoying driving. I love that one. I love it. She used a little theta healing phrase there, creator's definition. Creator's definition of safety, fear of not being enough, yet also being too much replaced with self-love. I love that, Terry. That's awesome. Gave up fear, let me see, dying before I can achieve my goals in life, replaced with trust. Gave up fear of not finding love that I truly deserve unconditionally and replaces it with courage and strength. I like that. Fear of ETs and replace with courage and bravery and love as they are in my life daily. This feels good. Well, I got news for you. Most of us here are ETs. Fear of retirement with the current economy. It's hard. I fear being not able to retire. So what did you replace that with, JC? What did you see it? And maybe you weren't ready to replace it yet. Again, you're not always going to be ready or at a place where you feel like in your heart of hearts, excuse me, that you could replace it yet. Maybe you still want to work with it a little bit more. Maybe there's more lessons you want to learn from it, more feelings you want to experience from it. So when you look at that list of beliefs or fears that you have, just know that you can work through the list. Complicated to talk about my fear, but it's being replaced and self-reliance and self-motivation. Nice. You can replace it. And so that's what, again, theta healing focuses a lot on taking old beliefs, finding out first, where did you get it? Is it from mom, dad? Is it from ancestors? Is it from a past life? Is it something from this life? Where'd you get that belief? What are you learning from it? How is it benefiting you in some way? And are you ready to pull it and release it? Lack of self-love to feeling so much love, it made me emotional. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that one. That is awesome. Self-love is a big one, guys. Just FYI, that is probably about 97, 98% of people's lessons that I come across in my higher self hypnosis sessions when they ask their higher self, what am I here to learn? Probably at least 97% of people's higher selves say self-love. I guess we're all a bunch of people who haven't quite mastered that yet, walking around on this planet. Fear of relocating to a strange city because I already did this and it hasn't been as successful as I expected. Ah, okay. All right. So that did you guys find that helpful? Find it helpful? All right, we got some more exercises we're going to do too. So hold on just a second here. Let me get back to my notes. Okay, let me change the screen. Yes, Christina said yes. All right, so here's the summary. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this, you go ahead and do that. So here's the process. You want to listen to your intuition or that inner voice guiding you as to why the fear is there. Where did you get it? What lessons have you learned from it? If you're ready to release it or if there's more lessons to learn. And then finally send it to Creator's light with love and gratitude for the lessons it did teach you. Don't forget to replace it with a higher frequency emotion because nature abhors a vacuum. So you always want to fill it with something. You want to replace it with something else, something higher. So that's the process. So, okay, let's look back on the list of fears that you made, the beliefs. And I don't want anybody to be triggered when I say this, but all of these fears and beliefs are things that you have agreed to experience. Whoa, talk about self-accountability here, right? On some level, you have allowed them in your life. No one stood next to you with a gun and said, believe this or I'll kill you. You pulled those fearful beliefs into your experience almost always on an unconscious level, but you still did it, unconscious or not. You had to pull them in. Even if you were 2 years old, you still had to pull them in. But now all of that can change. And I'll tell you why. Like everything, you get to choose whether or not you would like to adopt any beliefs as your own. So remember, all the beliefs are energy and they vibrate at a particular frequency. And they work on an energetic level to attract like energies into your life. So I'm going to go to the next screen here. You are your own authority. You can change anything in your life, including your beliefs and fears. So here's an affirmation I made along those lines. I am the authority of my life. I choose all of my beliefs. So now that you are going to start to pay attention to beliefs that you have, you get to be the gatekeeper. Am I going to allow that one in, or am I going to shut the door on that one and kick it right back out? You don't have to pick any belief you don't want to. And like we just did, making a list, you can add to that list and go through it to decide what you're going to do to clean your house, so to speak, right? I am the authority of my life. I choose all of my belief. That, my friends, is a power statement. So that is you being in your power and not being in low frequency victim energy. Until you realize that you get to choose your own beliefs, that you have no gatekeeper, gatekeeper of beliefs in your mind. They get to come in from all kinds of places. But now you know the power belongs to you, that you can be the gatekeeper of your beliefs. So that determines the fears you carry or the fears you don't allow in. So if you want to transform your fearful thoughts, here are some affirmations you can choose to incorporate into your life. And I recommend taking a screenshot or writing these down quickly. First one, fear is a low frequency thought that I have the power to replace with a higher frequency thought. You have the power to do that, right? The power belongs to you. No thought or fear can affect me unless I agree to be affected by it, right? No thought or fear can affect me unless I agree to be affected by it. The next one, fears and beliefs can all be changed. Fears and beliefs can all be changed. And then the last one I wrote, I choose to no longer match the vibration of fear. I consciously choose to exchange fearful thoughts for thoughts of safety. Oh, I love that one. I can feel that one. I choose to no longer match the vibration of fear. I consciously choose to exchange fearful thoughts for thoughts of safety. Isn't that a good one? Oh, I love that one. All right, next screen. You guys, everybody got a screenshot? Last time, going once, going twice. Get your screenshot on if you need to. Okay, creator mode versus survival mode. We are always in one mode or the other. Creator mode or survival mode. Okay? Creator mode. And if you guys can keep this one thing in mind, this will change your life. By constantly going through your day and asking yourself, am I in creator mode or am I in survival mode? Literally throughout your day. That will bring your thoughts to the present and put you in creator mode, reminding yourself that you might not be in creator mode and then kicking you over to creator mode. Creator mode is expansive. Creator mode is full of all possibility and all impossibility, what our human minds might think is impossible, right? Curing stage 4 cancer where the doctor says you have 6 months to live or 2 weeks to live. That would seem like an impossibility to cure that. But that is in survival mode, that's not being in creator mode. So when we're connected to our creator self, our God self, we remember who we really are. We remember that we're part of creator, just like that bucket of water I talked about was still the ocean. And just because that water is in a container now, it doesn't mean that it's no longer ocean. It still has all of the qualities, all of the characteristics of the ocean. And the same is true for you. We still retain all of the qualities and characteristics of our God nature. And we have the ability to remember and reconnect with those qualities and characteristics if we choose to do so. We have free will. We don't have to choose to remember and reconnect. But if we do choose that, it's there for us. So the other mode is survival mode. This might be, this might as well be called matrix mode or ego mode. If you guys haven't seen the Matrix series, you guys got to watch that. But it might as well be called matrix mode. This is the mode that believes in separation. It believes that we're no longer the ocean. It believes that you're no longer creator, that we're alone, that we're unsafe, that we're disconnected, that we're a failure. Living in survival mode causes us to believe that the world is a fearful place, full of unknowns that can harm us or cause us pain. I'm going to repeat that one because that's a good one to write down. Living in survival mode causes me to believe that the world is a fearful place. Wow, that's pretty powerful, right? So if you have two choices and you don't like living in fear and believing that the world is a fearful place, you have to move from survival mode over to creator mode. Again, creator mode is remembering who you really are. Remembering that you are the water in that bucket that was scooped out of the ocean. That you're part of creator. You still have all the same qualities and characteristics. And you can remember and reconnect to that at any time. So next screen, the benefits of moving into creator mode. Whew, lots of good benefits. I probably could have gone on and found more, but this is what I came up with. More peace, more flow, more abundance, more joy, a feeling of connection because you're connected to your true self. You remember who you really are, right? Feeling safe, more control, so to speak, right? More acceptance, more love. So, what do we need to do to move out of survival mode and move into creator mode? You guys are going to love this exercise. Ooh, I love this one. Okay. Here's an exercise I want to lead you through that I actually just recently learned from a client's higher self. And her and I, at the end of the session, were just like, whoa, that was so good. We loved it. Her higher self called it breathing with God. Doesn't that just sound awesome? Breathing with God. So go ahead and do this. Put your feet on the floor, close your eyes, sitting down. I want you to focus on your breath. Okay? We're always breathing, but this is turning off the thoughts and just focusing on your inhale and focusing on your exhale. Again, with your eyes closed, just focus on your inhale and focus on your exhale. Now, I want you to put the thought in your mind that these breaths that you are taking are God breaths. In other words, they're God's breath being breathed through you. So with that new perspective, I want you to feel what it feels like for you to breathe with God. Maybe you say something to yourself like, this is what it feels like to breathe with God. Or maybe you say, this is God's breath breathing through me. Or this is God's breath filling my lungs. Just notice what that feels like. Notice how your chest rises and falls with each God breath. Notice that God breath leaving your body through your mouth. Notice that God breath entering your body through your nose. Now, I want you to feel how these breaths with God are calming down all fears and reminding you of what is really real and who breathes with you. Rest in the peace of knowing who is breathing with you. Feel the energies of peace and calm, and then leave your lungs as you realize that you are no longer breathing on your own. Thank you, Creator God, for being the breath in our lungs. Now slowly bring yourself back to this time and this place and open your eyes when you feel ready. And let me know in the comments what you thought about that exercise. How did that feel? Did you sit there and wrestle with your fears in your mind, or were you really into it? Were you really feeling connected? I was so emotional but excited. I love that. Anybody else? I felt safe, calming, and soothing. I needed that. My fear was breathing. It was like remembering where I came from and remembered this gift. Great for meditation daily. Yes. Calm, empowering, great exercise. I started laughing with the joy that overcame me, said Jennifer. I love that. Peaceful and connected to source. Felt a little quick breeze. Confirmation. Love that. Jennifer, I felt calm. I felt nothing. Oh no. I hope nothing is in a good way. No fears or anything. I hope that's what that meant. Um, yeah. I was just, let me see, calm, peaceful, connecting. Yes, nice. Um, I just thought that was really beautiful. Let's see, I don't feel a connection to God. Oh, well, we need to have a different conversation. That's a different conversation. It's learning that you are connected to God and trusting that you're connected to God, knowing that you're connected to God, downloading Creator's definition of connection with God. There's lots of things in theta healing you can do with that. Wow, lots of things. Downloading Creator's definition of safety. So why is it that you don't feel connected to God? We would dig into that like in a theta healing session or with a higher self. Why don't you feel connected to God? What do you feel is missing? What caused you to feel disconnected from God? I felt a powerful realization that everything's possible. Nice. So remember, fear, what I said earlier, fear, the root of fear is the belief that you are separate from God. So if you believe you're separate from God, yeah, that's the key to everything. You are connected to God, even if you don't think so. Correct. It's the illusion that you're disconnected from God, right? It's an illusion, guys. It really is an illusion. We come through this veil of forgetfulness to have this experience of what would it be like? We're in the spirit realm and we go, oh, what would it be like to pretend that I'm not God? Ooh, that would be an experience. What would I do? How would I feel? How would I navigate life? What would I do to replace God? Because I have to feel like there's something protecting me. Ooh, I'll create this thing called an ego. Yeah, all that. You know, there's all kinds of experiences we get to have by forgetting. Yeah, we get to go to the other side and remember all this nuttiness down here, right? All this nonsense now. We can learn lots of lessons. All right. I want you to write down this truth, guys. I'm going to put it on the screen. Thought, don't you love that little picture on there? I love it. Thoughts and emotions are not who you are. Thoughts and emotions are not who you are. Your thoughts are not you. Your emotions are not you. You are God. You are outside of all of your thoughts and emotions. And I'm going to prove it to you guys right now. How do I prove it? I'm going to prove it by having you remember just a little while ago when I had you visualize a white screen up in front of you. And I said, imagine that you're on that white screen and imagine that your belief or your fear is on that white screen. So who's the one observing? If you're watching yourself on the screen and you're watching the belief or the emotion on the screen, who's the one doing the observing? It's the real you, right? It's the observer, the God observer, you watching this happen. You are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. We get attached to them and we allow our thoughts to define us. Let me give you some examples. Well, that's just who I am. I am afraid. I am scared. I am poor. I am rich. And we don't know how to parse out our thoughts from our beingness. Okay, a thought is something outside of the real us. When we are too closely identified with this character, let's say my name is Kim, right? Or Tracy, right? I'm too identified with Tracy. And I think that's who I am. But Tracy is not who I am. I can list a number of past lives that I have had, and my name was not Tracy in any one of those lives. And I was a male in a number of those lives, and I was an ET race in a number of those lives. I've never been Tracy before. So for me to identify as Tracy and all the thoughts I have as Tracy being me, that's not true. That's not who I am. The real me is going to leave this Tracy suit here when it's time to pass on from this earth incarnation. And I'm going to continue on being my higher God self, my divine self. So those thoughts that Tracy had, those emotions that Tracy had, that's not who the real me is. That's what made up Tracy, but that's not the real me. So not allowing our thoughts and our emotions to define us. They can be changed. If I was a different person and I had a different upbringing, I'd have different thoughts and different emotions. Okay. So who are you? I'm going to go to the next screen. Who are you? Remember, you are God. God is love. Therefore, you are love. The key is to become aware or remember the pure love that you are. This is who you really are. And if you're familiar at all with the Bible, not to throw scripture in here, but an often quoted scripture states, love casts out all fear. So again, it comes down to remembering who you really are. And just because someone scooped you out of that ocean and you're now in a bucket does not mean you're not the ocean. You're still the ocean, just as much of the rest of the water in that big expanse. You're still just as much the ocean. So close your eyes again, guys. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Once again, focus on your breath. Clear your mind, feet on the floor. Focusing on your breath. We're doing this to give your mind something other than random thoughts to focus on. So focus on the breath coming in your chest. Focus on the inhale. Focus on the exhale. And next, I want you to feel the real you, your soul self that sits inside your physical body. I want you to feel yourself centered in the pure love of your heart center. And I want you to just rest there for a moment. The center of your heart, the center of love. Just rest in there for a moment. I want you to feel the energy of safety in this place. I want you to feel the energy of connection in this place. And now I want you to gently feel the love energy that you are expanding through your whole body. I want you to feel that love energy that you are filling your entire torso. Feel it flowing up your neck, out into your arms and your fingers. Feel that love energy that is you flowing down your legs, your ankles, and your feet. Feel it filling up your head and your face. And sit for a moment in that essence of who you really are. That love essence that is the real you. Remember, God is love. You are God, therefore you are love. Notice how peaceful this feels to sit in that love essence that is the real you. Notice how warm you feel inside. Notice the sensation of calmness in your body and in your mind. Notice the feeling of safety that comes with remembering who you really are. You are safe to be your true self. You are safe to be in your body. You are safe in Creator. Feel yourself surrounded in that energy of safe love. And when you're ready, bring your focus back to your heart and know that you can come back to this heart space, this energy of love that is the real you anytime you want, to remind yourself of who you really are, to remind yourself that you're safe, safe in who you are, safe in your body. And go ahead and open your eyes when you're ready. You guys like that one? That was a good one too, right? All these little mini meditations that can just take you away from thoughts of fear, take you away from just looping beliefs and thoughts. Love that one too, said Jennifer. Yeah, it was a good one, right? I transcended for a moment. Woo! I love that, Pyra. That's awesome. I want to look at more comments on that one, but we have to move on because now I'm running late. Okay, affirmations. Write this down. The number one way to change your beliefs, which beliefs are what cause you to have fear, right? Is through affirmations. Collecting, saying, and feeling new higher frequency thoughts, which over time with repetition, it's going to crowd out those old self-sabotaging beliefs and fears so that these newer, higher frequency phrases can become your new beliefs. It's the repetition. You're basically just crowding out those old ones, reprogramming your brain. That's what you're doing with affirmations. The second way that people's higher selves tell them to change their beliefs is by engaging in positive self-talk. And that's just like it sounds, positive self-talks. And get this, nearly every person's higher self tells them to engage in positive self-talk out loud. Yep, walk around talking to yourself, look as crazy as you want. You're changing your mind. You're reprogramming yourself. Who cares what anyone thinks? Okay. And before I talk about the last two, let me see what we got. Yeah. Before I talk about the last two things you can do to eliminate fear, to reduce fear. I want to just remind you guys again about 2 super effective ways to shine light on your fears, suck the energy out of them. If you're not doing it on your own, or if you want some help doing that, is with the higher self hypnosis, where your higher self just goes, yep, you got this. Yep, you got this. Yep, you got this. This is what you're learning. These are the lessons. Nope, you haven't learned that one. Yep, you're learning that one. You're doing great. Your higher self just boom, 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 knocks them all out, and then tells you in the session what your homework is, what you need to continue to work on, but can also pull those limiting beliefs and fears and tell you where it came from. Oh, that's an old ancestral belief. Yeah, you don't need that one anymore. We're gonna remove that one right now. I see that all the time. And then again, theta healing, which my classes start again the end of January. So you guys can go to wokelightworker.com for either of these if you want to schedule a free 15-minute phone call with me to talk about higher self-hypnosis, or if you want more information on theta healing that starts on January 25th. You can get all the dates and the times, everything for that. And again, with my scholarship that I'm offering, you get the 4th class. If you sign up for all 4, you get the 4th one scholarshiped to you. Okay. So again, changing limiting beliefs, getting physical, mental, emotional healing, reprogramming your mind, all of that stuff we tackle in theta healing. So as promised, let's move on to the last 2 mindfulness techniques I want to address tonight. And the first one is, this should be no surprise. Oops, going past that. Meditation. 20 years ago, I maybe would have had to educate you guys about what meditation is, but that is just, I don't find that necessary today. It's such a highly used word along with the word mindfulness. And you can even do a quick search online and find the list containing all the proven mental, emotional, medical benefits. It's just flat out good for you. This image on the screen has some of the ways that it benefits you. But if you're not doing it, I have a list of some meditations that I recommend practicing with that I pulled off YouTube. You can find those on my website, wokelightworker.com. And there's a tab that's called videos. You can just go there, scroll down a little bit. And before anyone can do a higher self hypnosis session with me, I have 2 requirements. First, you have to watch at least one of my full sessions on my YouTube channel, because I want you to know what it's really like, what you're really going to be doing. Second, you have to be committed to doing guided meditations while you're awake every single day before your session for at least 15 to 30 minutes a day. And this is to ensure that, my clients have the best session possible. And trust me, it works. And surprise, surprise, many people who come to me, I ask them, I'm like, oh, so were you a meditator for a while before you did this? And a lot of them are like, no, I didn't actually meditate until you made it part of the pre-homework for this session. But I am absolutely addicted to meditating now, and I can't believe how much I love it, and I'm never going to stop. And I've actually got myself up to like 2 hours a day. Some people have said they just absolutely love it and realize how incredible it is. Just like these mini-minute meditations that we did just tonight, guys, just for those few moments, how much it brings peace to your mind, peace to your body. It's almost like doing a little reset. So meditation is a huge one. Let me see. Next one is called EFT. That stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. If you've never heard of it, it's also known as tapping. So I just want to briefly touch on this. There's probably some of you here who know a lot more about tapping than I do, but it's when you tap on various acupressure points. So like you might be tapping on the side of your hand, you might be tapping on the side on your temple here, underneath your eye, in the center between your eyes, above your lips, on your chin, kind of here, like right by your shoulder blade, on your side over here, under your arm. But EFT or tapping is supposed to help calm your fears, calm down the physical responses in your body that are triggered by fearful emotions, and it helps bring your body back into a state of balance. So tapping is really beneficial. If you want to learn more about EFT, there's a lot of information online. And guys, if you go to udemy.com, oh, good tapping experience. Wow, you learn. Yeah. I guys, they use tapping with people who are like war vets and they suffer from PTSD. And supposedly it brings huge transformation to these war vets. So if it can help with them, I think it can help with our fear, right? But I'm going to recommend to you guys, look at the screen now. There is a meditation online, and I also have a link to this on my website, wokelightworker.com, if you want to just go to that videos tab. It's called Eco Meditation, and it's by a man named Dawson Church that I highly recommend. It's like 15 minutes long. He starts with a little bit of tapping, and then he gets into a really, really peaceful meditation where he's sending love. He's helping you totally clear your mind. And then you're sending love to your body. You're sending love to a person or a thing outside of you. Like it's just a really, really beautiful meditation. Again, that starts with some tapping. So that's one I recommend. So here's my summary, guys. As I've demonstrated, there are numerous things you can do to help shine a light on your fears, pull the power out of them so they no longer have a stronghold on your life. You can talk to your fear, swap it out for a higher frequency emotion. You can use power statements and affirmations, positive self-talk, breathing with God. You can center yourself in your safe inner love energy. Remember that little meditation we did? You can meditate. There are so many meditations online. Or you could learn and do tapping or EFT, emotional freedom techniques. So I've just given you 7 tools. Again, I'll read them quickly just in case you were taking notes. You can talk to your fear and swap it out for a higher frequency emotion. You can use power statements and affirmations, positive self-talk, breathing with God. You can center yourself in your safe inner love energy. And then there's meditation. And then there's tapping. So I told you guys I was going to take some question and answer. So if you have to leave, I understand we're at 2 hours, but I do want to take a few questions if anybody has any. But for everyone who attended the class, again, I'm going to offer you a scholarship to my Theta Healing starting January 25th and signing up for the 4-class package. It's valid until 12 noon Central Time on January 19. But here's the catch, if you will. You get this bonus by doing 2 things. First, staying through the entire, which you did. And 2, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, can you please complete a super, super short, quick 3-question feedback form for me to let me know what you thought of this class? Because I truly, the 4 classes in Theta Healing, you guys, you can find, I'm going to email you guys all the information about the Theta Healing classes in a separate email, but you can also find them all listed on my website, wokelightworker.com under Theta Healing. Okay. But this question just asks what you thought about the class. And then if you want to get the code to get the scholarship for Theta Healing, just write scholarship in the comments. Like you can write any comments you want about the class, what you thought of it, what you want to see different, maybe anything like that. Honest feedback is great. But then write the word scholarship and we can go ahead and email you the scholarship code. So if you want to do that. What else did I write here? So if you look in the chat box, Chris is supposed to be putting a link to the survey. Oh, there it is, guys. He just put it in the chat box. So if you go there, go ahead and click on that link right now. I'm going to give you guys just a minute to complete it before I take any questions. I really would love your honest but gentle, constructive feedback because my goal is to always give a lot of value and make every minute worth your time. Nice, Pyra. She's like typing like crazy. So just 2 minutes of your time. And For anyone who's watching the replay, if you were not able to attend live, you could avail yourself of this scholarship by referring to the promo code that's going to be listed in the email with the replay link. So go ahead and answer the survey if you would, guys, and then I want to open it up for questions. And if you have to leave us at this time, thank you so much for coming. You're going to get a link to the replay. Thank you for coming. Thank you for completing the survey. I'm so honored and humbled that you chose to spend your evening with me. And as one of my favorite authors, Marianne Williamson, says, the love in me salutes the love in you. I so appreciate you being here. Let me see if Chris had anything to say to me at this moment. Not yet. So Erica, thank you for completing the survey. I didn't know I was going to get messages saying who completed the survey. This is awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Anybody got any questions? After you fill out the survey, does anybody have any questions they want to ask? And I'm not sure how I get to see all of you guys and how I can unmute you, or if you're able to unmute yourselves, we can try it either way. Let's see. Oh, the surveys are just dinging in. Thank you guys. You are awesome. I appreciate it. I really, really, really do. Like, I really do. Let's see. Got the chat message here. Let me go to participants. I'm going to unmute all. There, I hit unmute all. So if anybody has a question, I'm going to move my camera to that. Anybody has a question, go ahead and unmute yourself, because for some reason, I'm just not really good at navigating this screen. I can only see like 6 of you at the top of my screen, and there's 39 people here. So I won't be able to see if you raise your hand or anything. So go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question, or if you want to give any feedbacks or comment on anything that happened. And the surveys are still pinging in. So thank you so much, you guys.
So Tracy, this is Carol. I did a higher hypnosis class a couple of years ago with you, and it was absolutely amazing. The biggest thing is to really, really learn how to meditate, and watch your videos and just do the homework, because you get so much more out of it when, we were working together.
Yeah.
So, and anytime I see you pop up, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to take it. I don't know how to find the survey. I'm on my phone. So I don't know how to find the survey. I don't know if you want to email us after.
Do you see the chat box anywhere or no? Chris, are you able to send her directly the link by any chance? If Chris can hear me, if he can maybe send you directly the link.
That would be great.
If do that. Yeah, thank you for that feedback, because I actually, guys, I listen to my spirit team, my higher self, a lot when I do my work. I mean, this entire class, I centered myself and said, team, you're writing this class. I'm just the note taker here. I'll just kind of process it through my brain and put it on paper and type it all out. What do you want me to teach? And what do you want me to say? But I listened to my team a lot, and they were the ones who told me to have people prepare for their higher self hypnosis session by watching somebody else's session so they get a good feel for it, and then practicing guided meditations. Because then I'll tell you guys why you want to practice guided meditations, especially to do something like that, because your brain goes into a slower brainwave state. It's called a theta brainwave state, which everyone goes through that stage before they get to delta, which is sleep. So when you practice on a daily basis, putting your brain in that slower, relaxed theta brainwave state, by the time you do a higher self hypnosis session, or you do a theta healing class, hence the word theta healing class, your brain's like, oh, I know exactly what to do and how to do it, because I've been practicing this for the last 2 weeks or month or 2 months or whatever it is from the time I booked my session with Tracy and the time I had my session. So
Yeah, I think I practiced for about 2 months, and
yeah.
and you explain that, is it really you saying this? And I did see a past life, and the more I think about it too, I can actually visualize it more now because I'm meditating more. So I highly, highly recommend that people do the higher self-hypnosis with Tracy and really, really practice, because you'll get the most amazing benefits out of it, like I did.
And I promise you guys, I did not know Carol was going to say this, and I can pay you, but I didn't even know.
I know, and it's been a few years, and I'm still on that
Funny.
journey of healing, but I think I'm right there now at the cusp. And obviously, things are meant to happen. And this class that you held tonight was just, the cherry on top. So thank you so much for what you do.
Oh, you're so welcome, Carol. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Mhm.
you so much. All right, anyone else?
I have a question. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Frida.
No, that's fine.
Tammy.
Uh,
Okay.
so I have abilities in mediumship and, um, of course, intuitiveness and healing. And I might talk to my spirit guides, and I know trust is an issue. And listening tonight and going through everything, the exercises, I think that a lot of it is fear because I'm getting more spirit coming to me, whether it's good or bad, for help or for crossing over, that kind of thing. And I think the fear has really come up, and that's what is pulling back on my trust. So I just wanted to say that got kind of like opened me up tonight to see, oh, okay, that's what's causing the fear, and that's what's causing me not to trust myself.
Mm. Yeah, so it's reminding yourself that you're safe. And you guys, I forgot to mention to you, this is the other, I said I had a couple of gifts for you guys. So the one is if you sign up for the 4 package Theta Healing, I'm going to give you guys a scholarship to the 4th class. But the other thing I'm going to give you, I haven't done it yet, so I'm doing it. I'm doing it just for you guys. I am going to record in the next couple of days. I'm going to record a meditation to help us overcome fear and to know that we're safe, we're connected, that we're safe. So, since I haven't written it fully yet, I've got ideas in my mind of what I'm going to include in it. It might be some of the things we did tonight, like, getting in that heart space, being there, breathing with God. I might incorporate that in there and just reminding yourself that you're safe. But just keep in mind that, like Tammy, like you said, if you ever start to get in fear, just start breathing with God. That's something you can do like that. Just remind yourself, nope, I'm
Yeah,
breathing with God. And you can just instantly start breathing with God.
yeah, very helpful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Yeah, we hear everything we need to hear when we need to hear it, don't we?
Right.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, who else? Frida, were you trying to talk?
Yeah, I had a question. So, every um not so much hypnotherapist, but person that works as a medium or a psychic or in that realm is what I'm talking about, has different techniques, different beliefs, different ways of working, through energy. So I'm saying that because I have a question, but I want you to know I respect that I understand that everybody is different. So this other person that I listen to sometimes has said that there is fear that has been kind of cloaked over the planet, and it's been a problem for quite some time, and it's something that we have to work through. So in other words, almost like like a bad energy, you know?
Mhm.
And so the reason why I had said that obviously is because we have individual fears to work through. You know, we each have individual fears to work through. I mean, if you have no fears, that's that's great, you know, but we all, you know, they're going to come and go in life. They're going to change. And I love the techniques that you taught. But can you speak to what I had just mentioned? You know, is that something that you've heard? Is there any feeling, you know, do you have any thoughts about that? Um, you know, whether it's another something be not just be in other words, I'm sure that we can overcome it because we can overcome anything. But is it completely ours individually, or could it be, you know, what I had
Okay.
just mentioned?
Yeah. So yeah, actually I do have a lot to say about that. I love that question. That's awesome. So remember when I was talking earlier about all these different energies that are coming at us
Yes.
from society, from the collective? That's kind of another layer, right? So yes. Okay. Total sidetrack. I have a session. I'm trying to figure out how to share with you guys without getting my YouTube and my TikTok and my Instagram taken down because it is about that kind of stuff. It is about who's really running this planet. We hear this stuff, right? But this is from this woman's higher self hypnosis session, and she had never heard this stuff before. So, you know, she wasn't making it up because she's like, yeah, I didn't know any of this stuff, you know, about talking about chemtrails, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So I might be starting something called a Rumble channel on Rumble because you speak at this time here freely on Rumble and share things like that. So I may have to create a Rumble channel, which is like YouTube, where I can actually speak freely about it, and then I'll let you guys know. But with regard to there being like a dark energy on the planet, yes, that is the dark energy that keeps us, it wants to keep us attached to the matrix, to the old Earth grid
Yeah.
versus the new upgraded Earth grid.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that when we have all of these individual fears and beliefs that we're also dealing with? Well, it's like Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you focus on you, and as you become healed, as your light shines brighter, because it's not cloaked in your own self-imposed darkness, right, of illusion, as your light shines brighter, it's almost like a spark that lit a continuous flame. You're therefore on an energetic level giving others permission to do their healing work. I mean, you hear a lot of people these days talking about healing inner child, meditating, doing all these things. You didn't hear any of that stuff 30 years ago.
Nope.
Not really. I mean, unless you were in that circle, but it's like mainstream talk now,
Yep.
right? Especially meditation. So that
Yeah.
just shows how far we've come by people
Yes.
lighting the flame. And by you healing yourself, you feed into the collective vibration of the planets. And it brings brightness to the whole planet. And then other people can see that light and it lights their spark, this God spark in them, if it's part of their journey to do that. Does that make sense?
That is probably not that everything else was an education, but that resonates with me. The last thing you said so much that yes, because I was allowing things happening in the world to affect me, I was then mirroring that feeling. And oh yeah, what you just said, that yeah, there's a reason for everything. And maybe that, you know, that made the most impact for me because I needed to hear that. So really, thank you very much. And Priya, I'm coming over there for a cupcake. I hope you have more because that girl's cupcakes look really good.
Come to Florida.
Oh.
wait, don't, because there's a big storm.
Well, I'm on the West Coast. This isn't going to work. Put them in the mail.
There's better cupcakes on the West side or West Coast.
That's so
you.
funny.
Yeah.
No, but going back to what you said, so you can also do things, you guys. I had this as part of my presentation, but I knew I was going to run out of time, so I had to take it out. I almost used a pun. I almost had to cut it out, and it has to do with cord cutting. So I almost had to cut it out. I did have to cut it out. So I had to cut out cord cutting, but cord cutting, if you I'll just briefly explain what I was gonna share that I took out was in a recent session that I did actually just last week. Her higher self said that she had cords connecting her to her ancestors for different fears and beliefs. And her higher self went and cut those cords, sent them to Creator's Light, filled in the space with liquid light energy. So you can see the same thing happening to you. Again, guys, go to the Matrix movie. I'm telling you, like, you remember when they were pulling all those tubes off of them and they'd have these like black holes where the tubes connected into their bodies to show how they're connected to the Matrix? So imagine that you're pulling those that are connecting you to the Matrix, to the old Earth grid, right? Versus the new upgraded Earth grid. Unplug yourself, ask your higher self and visualize it. See your higher self unplugging you from the old Earth grid and everything that's involved with it. Hey, okay, you're unplugging this one. What is that one? Higher self, intuition. Remember, use your imagination. Go with what comes to your mind first. What is that one? What was that? What was that feeding into me? What was that siphoning from me? They're not all feeding things into you. A lot of them are siphoning. We're literally human battery packs down here, just FYI.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Battery packs for other races. So I don't know if you wanted to hear that tonight, but
Speaking of, I've been having sleep paralysis lately, and I think it's just mostly related to my job.
oh yeah. Unplug, Pyra. Unplug from any of those energies that you don't know, that you no longer want to be part of. But a physical way that we unplug from those guys is turn off the media, right? That's the best way to unplug. You have to turn off the media because it's just the energy of fear from the old grid, from the Matrix, coming into your house, coming into your space, coming into your energy. And so unplugging from that and not giving it your life force energy any longer, right? So it's unplugging from all these different things. And when you start to unplug from these things, ladies, you're going to love this. Aging slows down because you are acting as a battery pack for these energies and it's sucking your life force energy.
You know, Tracy, I that makes a lot of sense. I guess for women, most of us, I think as women, there's that unplugging from it, and then there's the compassion. You know, it's taking what you're listening to and what you're learning and not internalizing it, maybe just trying to get, you know what I mean? Because it's really hard to completely cut out things that you might feel that you want to be aware of, you know, but and still not. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, but then I'm going to take it a little step further and say, are you maybe confusing compassion with empathy? Because empathy is feeling their emotions. Sympathy is carrying other people's emotions, and compassion is just noticing what they're going through with non-attachment, but sending love, to being able to send love to them.
Then it's not compassion.
So if you're feeling attached, if you're feeling attached, that's either empathy or sympathy.
Yep, it's that.
So
not
you've got to set healthy boundaries for yourself.
Yep.
That I will have compassion. I'm a compassionate person, but I don't need to feel their emotions in order to help them.
Right.
nor do I need to carry their emotions to help them.
Right.
So I got to feel empathy. I'm sorry, not empathy, sympathy. The real definition of the sympathy when my 22-year-old son's best friend died in a car accident last May.
Mm.
And I'm very, very, very close with his family, and I watch them grow up. They watch my kids grow up, and I would be carrying their grief for them.
Yeah.
And all I could think about was their grief and their grief and their grief and their grief. And I got to learn that that is sympathy.
Yeah, well, that's what it is then. It's not compassion. Yeah.
Right.
So
So how can you move to compassion? How can you unplug that cord of empathy or sympathy for what other people are going through in their life journey? It's not your life journey, right? Not to sound callous. So
no,
therefore,
but
it's not your emotion. It's not your business. It's not your problem. It's not your drama. It's not your trauma, right? Not that you don't have compassion,
right.
right? But you set a spiritual boundary for yourself to keep yourself centered, because then your light can shine and feed into the collective
Yes. Hmm.
and raise the frequency of the collective. But if you're down here in their low frequency emotions of pain and suffering, you're not feeding light into the collective.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I visualize it because that's what works for me. So I first visualize a bit. Yeah, I do a lot of, I'll clear the area, I'll bring in a creator, ask for help with it, and then, you know what I mean? And then I usually, I like to ask my spirit guides to help because they really do, I feel.
Yeah.
And they'll just, kind of drop little signs here and there. And I know that they're on board, and so I know I'm not alone,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, but that's good clarification. And I will be unplugging that cord the next time I allow myself the little bit of time to connect to see what's going on. Then I will visualize unplugging it. Then I'll fill in with light. And then yeah.
It's becoming aware of, why am I feeling this way?
Hmm.
And if it doesn't make me feel good, because our natural state, this is important, our natural state is bliss.
Hmm.
So if you're not feeling bliss, what is going on up here that's causing you to not have thoughts that are that's creating bliss in your life? So what is going on up here that is conflicting with what the mirror is reflecting back to you?
Hmm.
Right? Because bliss is our natural state. Bashar
Yes.
says that. Bentinho Massaro says that. There's a lot of teaching that bliss
Yes.
is our natural state.
Hmm.
Right? So then you say, what is it in me that needs to be healed or changed to bring me back to my natural state of bliss? What is it in me? So, and that's something we spend a lot of time on in theta healing too, also is okay, what's going on in me that I'm feeling kind of or crabby or sad or depressed or angry? Like, what is it in me that needs to be healed?
Hmm.
Because it's always a me issue.
Sure. Yeah.
Good questions, Frida.
Thanks. Well, I've got to go, and it's been wonderful and awesome. And I look forward to checking on all the things I want to on your website. And bye, everybody.
Yes.
And
Bye. Look for my email. You'll have the link to the meditation
I
in
will.
there too. Okay.
I will. I really, really enjoyed this. It was really perfect for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Does anybody else? I can do one more question if anybody else has a question, or we can end it now. You guys tell me. Anybody else want to jump in?
Well,
Okay. Yeah. Hi.
can you say hi? Can you just real quick, like fear? I know you went over like what the actual letters stood for, and I didn't get to write that down. Would you mind
Oh, what some people
repeating what
say, it means
Yeah.
false evidence appearing real.
false evidence appearing real?
Yeah.
And then the second question that I had was, is your higher self hypnosis similar to QHHT?
It's similar.
Okay.
And that's what I started off learning was QHHT,
Okay.
but then I took it a different direction
Okay.
by adding theta healing into my sessions. I merged the two, and then I mixed in a little bit of something called emotional alchemy. And then I mixed in a lot of stuff that my higher self taught me.
Okay.
And I do a lot of focus on pulling of trapped emotions and trauma healing. Not that somebody who comes and doesn't have trauma can't have an amazing session. Of course they can. But that has kind of come to be like, I guess you want to say, my specialty, and helping people overcome narcissistic abuse, parental abuse, sexual abuse, all kinds of trauma and abuse. And I've spent a lot of time studying it. I just actually finished an amazing 2-day seminar on trauma healing that was fabulous and gave me a ton of new information.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's similar. It's similar, but not exactly
But not
the same.
exact. Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
very similar.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good
Well, I love
questions. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. It's been awesome.
Yes, yes. I want to thank you guys all for being here again. I hope you're having a wonderful, amazing night. Look for my email again. I'm going to do it in the next couple days, that meditation just for you guys. I'll put some nice music in the background you can listen to, but I also have a meditation for free on my website. If you guys go to my website, I think the pop-up screen is still there. If it's not, we'll get it back up there, or if you want to email me, but it's called Connecting to Your Higher Self, or Meeting Your Higher Self. It's a meditation I did where you can actually meet your higher self in a meditation and get a message from your higher self. So if you're interested in that, if you don't find it on my website, email me. The contact is right on my website page, wokelightworker.com. Okay. All right, you guys, have a good night. Love you all so much. Bye.